A new Red Sanji Leader has been leaked and announced for the upcoming One Piece TCG PRB01. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. My name is Mobby, and we're going to talk about this current deck profile that I'm using. This is an unreleased leader, so all of these cards here, it's just my personal cook. I think in a couple of weeks, I'm going to reevaluate this deck and give you a whole new one. There's definitely more interesting cards that could go in this build, but this is the current one that I'm running. We're going to go over the game plan. We're going to talk about the utility cards, the attackers, the blockers, the 2Ks, and of course the events. So let's go ahead and get started. Now before we do, please like and subscribe. It really helps out this channel. Let me know down below what leaders you would like us to cover next. And if you want to make your own proxies, link in the description. I made a whole video tutorial. So here is the leader. I went ahead and translated and printed this one out myself. This is a 5,000 mono leader with 5 life, Sanji, Straw Hat Crew. Check out this ability. Activate main once per turn. Up to one of your 8 cost or lower characters without an on-play effect gains rush until the end of this turn. So the deck that we made up, it's primarily trying to just use this ability. After some testing with it, I do have to say, I think you absolutely do need some on-plays that are just super staple. So basically, this is like a 90% deck that uses when attacking. But yeah, I'm going to mess up some stuff. And I know in this deck, I know a lot of you guys are thinking, hey, Mobby, why don't you have the 5-drop ace with double attack? I feel like it's too slow, and what I wanted to do in this deck was make it so it primarily tries to lower attack to remove stuff on the field. So really cool leader. This is what we got going. Let's talk about the utilities first. So I really like these cards in general. This is the Nami from ST01, and we'll go ahead and zoom in a little bit right here. Zooming in. Okay. So, Nami, ST01, 1/1/1, activate main once per turn, give your leader up to one of your characters 1 rest to Dawn. A lot of characters in this deck requires them to have a Dawn on them, so if you can get this in your hand for the first or second turn, and then every future onward, they should be able to use their on-when attacks the first time that they come out on the field. So we're running 2 of these as a utility tech choice. The other utility card is 4 Namis. This is going to be primarily a Straw Hat Crew with a couple of Alabasta Kingdom stuff. So this is Nami from OP01, 1/2/1 on play. Look at the 5 cards and make it get a Straw Hat. Put the rest in the bottom, except a Nami. So these are all utility cards. Next up, the attackers, starting from the lowest cost to the highest cost. First off, we have Pell. This is from the OPL5 set, 3/4/1, so kind of a weak attack, but the ability is pretty cool. The +1 Dawn, which is why we're running these Namis. When attacking, give up to one of your opponent's characters -2,000. This is used in 2 sort of manners. One, for just trying to KO somebody that's already rested on the board by giving them -2,000. You can be able to attack with this character into them for the most part, maybe even your leader. And another reason is because we have some KO abilities that have to deal with characters' powers being as low as possible. So we're running this. And just let me reiterate again, every character without on play can gain rush once per turn. But basically, this is a rush card. Think of any card here with one attack as a potential rush card. So we're running a couple of these, 3 of these. Now, to combo with this, we have some Nico Robin. So this is from Straw Hat, OPL1, 3/4/1, 1 Dawn. When attacking, KO someone that's 3,000 or less. So you can see already right now the synergy. Maybe you play this one turn. It doesn't matter which one you play, as long as they're both alive, right? So maybe on turn 2 you play this guy. Next turn you attack with Robin, and then it's gonna be sick. So you're gonna be able to KO stuff. And because these things are weak on the board, your opponent's going to be inclined to attack them, you know, freeing up resources for them attacking your leader. It's also a persistent attack every single turn, so they really want a high priority remove these. So we're running 4 of these Robins. Next up, this doesn't really have anything to do specifically with when attacking, but I thought this leader is really good in general. It's slow on its own. Like that, not a lot of people are running this. But this is from ST01, 3/5 no counter. When a Dawn is attached, meaning on your turn or the character or your opponent's turn, this character gains 1,000. So the first turn that you can play this, if you're able to put a Dawn on him and you get the rush ability, he's going to be 7,000 to the opponent's face. And then on their turn, it's going to be 1,000 more to 6,000. So it's a little bit sticky as a removal. And it's a really cool card. So we're running 4 of these. These are really nice cards. Next up, it's going to be Brooke from OP01 451. 1 Dawn attach. When attacking, give up to 2 opponents' characters -2000. Just really solid ability for this deck. Having almost everything that you want and being able to have rush once per turn. But it's really nice. This is a cool card. Next up, it's going to be Pell from Alabasta OP04, 5/6 no counter, attach 1 Dawn when attacking. KO somebody with 4000 power or less. Once again, it's the theme of lowering attack to either run into your face and KO or remove with effects like this. So we're running 3 of these Pells because they don't have no counters on them. So we're running just 3. Next up, it's a little bit of a weird thing, but I thought it would work in this deck. This is Wapol from Drum Kingdom OP08, 6/6/1. Really weird stats, but at least it has a counter. But the ability is really cool. 1 Dawn attached, so I think it works really well with this Nami. When attacking, one of your opponent's characters gets -2000, the theme. Then this character gains 2000 until the end of your opponent's next turn. So the turn that you can put this out, either you have 7 Dawn, or if you have Nami and you have 6 Dawn, you're going to be able to get this guy in the field. Then you have him attack for 8000. Then on your opponent's turn, it's gonna stay 8000. So this is a very strong, sticky card, and it lowers, and it puts you up. So maybe you're able to just remove something. So this is really cool. I like these. Next off, we're gonna use these Luffys. This is from OP04. This hasn't seen any play either because it's just way too slow. But in this deck, it has potential. 8/9/0. Innate banish. So you just drop this on turn 8 because that is the highest cost that you can use for this effect, and then you can just banish the face for 9000. You can just play this naked, and they have to spend a lot of cards to protect their banish. So we're running just 3 of these because this is primarily an early game deck with trying to control the board via lowering stuff and attacking. But if you're able to get to late game, then hey, there you go. So like as I mentioned at the beginning, we're not running those the double attack aces. I feel like it's a little, even though it is double attack, I feel like I'd rather spend more stuff using these Luffys or summoning things to lower and KO things in general. Next up, it's the blockers. We have 4 of these Tony Choppers from EB01. 3/4/1 in a blocker. When 2 Dawn is attached, when attacking, give somebody -3000. You're primarily using it for the block. It's able to be searched. It's a counter. But yeah, sometimes the -3000 will come into effect, and this is a really good card to do so. So running 4 of these. Next up, for the 2Ks, we're running quite a lot in this deck, and the reason being, it's because this deck's really early game and rushing. You're gonna, even though these guys are all good, they have very low base attacks. Real low base attacks. So we're gonna make that up with a lot of utility cards and a lot of 2Ks for defense and some utility. So starting with Otama, not a Straw Hat, but it's OP01. It has an on play, so you're obviously not going to be using it for rush, but this one is give one of your opponent's characters -2000 power. Just works with the KO cards, helps you rush into things. Really staple in this deck. Really good. Next up, we have the 2 Sanjis, the 2K Sanjis from OP01. 2/3/2, activate main once per turn, and remember, it has rush if you need it. Add 1 card from your life to your hand. This character gains 2000 right away, so it will be a rush for 2. You hit yourself, you make it 5000, then give this up to 2 Rested Dawn, so it becomes a 7000. It's pretty neat. It could be an endgaming rush if you really need the rest of your mana for that turn. Next up, we have these Monkey D. Luffys. This is the Promo 06. 3/3/2. Dawn 2 attached. This turn he gets 2. He gets 2 power. So it's a little bit of a different version of this. This one you hurt yourself. This one you just need another Dawn plus 1 more mana. But basically this will be 3, 4, 5. You have to have 2 Dawn, 6, 7. So basically it's these guys are both rush 7s with the bare minimum of Dawn that you need. Now, finally, for the events. Let's move on. We have some Radical Beams. We're running 4 of these because it's so cheap and really good. 1 Straw Hats, STO1, main. Oh, sorry. Radical Beams. OPO1. Okay, counter. Your leader up to 1 of your characters against 2000. You never ever want to use this for the 2000. A lot of the times you're gonna have 2 or less life, when you want to use this. The 1 cost for 4 power, so good. Always do this. The trigger is actually decent too if it goes off. So running 4 of these to make sure you are safe at the very end of the game, and some of your very key characters are safe at the end of the game. And the last card of the deck is going to be a Diamble Jambe. Basically, it's a Straw Hat STO1, 1 cost. one of your leader or characters with straw hats. Your leader is straw hat, or all of your other guys are straw hats. You know, even this Luffy is straw hats, really good. So if you think about it, what's the craziest scenario? You have 8, you have 9 Dawn, 10. Even if you have 8 Dawn, you can go ahead, well, basically you need 8 to play this and then 1 to attach. So you need 9 or 10 Dawn to do this. But basically, to be able to play this, give it Rush, Diable Jambe, and then Rush for the end game. Obviously, you know, depends on what they have in their hand, but that's a scenario. So that's it for this deck. It's interesting, and I don't know if there's going to be any more crazy support specifically for this archetype inside of the upcoming OP09 set, because it does come from PRB01, which is just a sort of standalone reprinting of the best cards, and this is the only new card in there, and, you know, playable card besides Dawns and stuff. But yes, so this is super fun. We tried it out. I made a deck, Scoobs made a deck. We're going to be playing it a little bit more. I like the leader. It's actually just extremely fun. But I'm going to be messing around with more stuff. Like maybe we forget about the one attacking stuff and we just get really good, amazing, strong, high stat cards to outvalue the opponent. So I'm going to go ahead and think of another deck profile, and once I do, I'll come back, let you know how it performed, etc. But let me know in the comments before you guys stop watching. What do you think about this one? What would you add or remove to work with the overall game plan of lowering the cost, KOing the cost? Because it is a lot of setup, I'm not going to lie. It is a lot of setup. Or would you either get like a lot of value cards like that ace thing I mentioned? What have you? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.